Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Running very behind with my cooking. Had another visit to hospital last night, and this was supposed to be my dinner last night, which was ironically supposed to be my dinner the night before too. So unfortunately I've had chicken breast sitting in the fridge for a few days, which is a no-no. When I took it out of the bag, it didn't smell very good, but I'm giving it a bath, so it should be fine. So my advice is buy your chicken breast, freeze it if you know you're not going to cook it for a few days, defrost it in the freezer, and then get it out the day before you're going to cook it. But at the moment I have no plans. It's dinner when it's dinner. I cook it when I cook it. Eat it when I eat it. So I'm cooking this morning so I can at least have it for lunch in case I've got to go back down again. So after saying that, this is what we need. This is going to do two servings. So if you're going to cook for 4 people, you will just need to double that. I went to cut off a chunk of pumpkin, and I quite like pumpkin, especially when it's roasted. So I am using, actually, that is about 400 grams of pumpkin. To me, that's not much. So I would double the pumpkin if you want more pumpkin. The chicken breast, try and go for smaller ones, otherwise you feel like you're eating a whole chicken. So get the oven onto 180, grab a big roasting pan. This is going to be really quick because you could chuck it in the oven and go about getting ready for work or whatever if you're doing this in the morning, or go and do something and then you've got a healthier roast dinner. So let's go. Now, there is actually such thing as garlic butter that you can buy, but don't fall for that sort of stuff, I'm sorry. It'll be one of those jars that, or whatever it comes in, you'll use it once and then it'll sit in the fridge like my loaf of white bread and you'll end up throwing it out. So my suggestion is to make it yourself. Then you'll actually know you got garlic in it. I'm using minced garlic. I very rarely use minced garlic, but in this circumstance, it's probably a good idea. So to make garlic butter, it's 1.5 tablespoons of butter. So I'm going to get my butter melting jug. You that know me, you'll know that there is a jug that can seemingly not be cleaned. So it is called the butter melting jug. Okay, 1.5 tablespoons. I've still got unsalted butter. I'm just using this up. I very rarely use unsalted butter, but I figure today I'm just going to try and use up what I can because I've got to try and do this quick. I do have to go to work. That's probably close enough. It's going in the chicken anyway. Melt that for maybe about 30 seconds in the microwave. While that's going on, grab that pumpkin and we're going to cut it into chunks, but we also need to grab a roasting pan. I have my handy big white one. This one's really good for this sort of thing. Line it with baking paper. You'll thank me when it comes time to washing up. Okay, so what we're actually going to be doing is I'm just going to cook everything together. Okay, so put that aside. Your oven's already on 180 because you want that pretty hot. This is supposedly all going to only cook for 35 minutes. If you think chicken's going to cook at 35 minutes, then I don't know. It might be a miracle. Alright, it's melted enough. Generally with garlic, 1 teaspoon is 1 clove, so I'm just going to do 1 clove of garlic, 1 teaspoon in with the butter. Okay. Don't want it to be too strong in case I do go and visit Mum. Alright, so that saves you buying a whole pile of garlic butter. I think I have seen it once. The only time I would probably buy it is if I was making a lot of garlic bread. Okay, I'll explain the bread later. You're probably wondering why have I got half a sandwich, unless you read the recipe instruction sheet, then you'll know exactly why I have it. Okay, cut the pumpkin into thin wedges. Take the seeds out as well. So can't cut it into thin wedges. I'm going to just hack at it. Ideally, if you decide you want to grow pumpkins in your veggie patch, you're looking at your seeds right there. Pumpkin does grow very easily. It's one of those things that literally will grow. They look pretty cool when they're growing. Obviously, they're great around Halloween time. Alright, that I would consider thin wedges. That's probably better though. Leave the skin on. It seems to keep its shape that way. I'll have a fight with this and I'll be right back. Okay, that is plenty of pumpkin for 2 people. Okay, so that is going in the roasting pan. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get everything all in there. So the other thing that's going in there is Roma tomatoes. I could not get Roma tomatoes, so I got normal ones and we're cutting them in half. These ones, because they're normal tomatoes, I'm going to do them into quarters. And this is 3 to do 2 people. Obviously for 4 you'd have 6. The Roma tomatoes roast better, but I think these will be fine. So just chuck those in like that. Those go in as well. Everything's all going to roast in the same pan. That's the beauty of doing a roast. I'm just going to chuck them in. You'll see what it looks like when I actually bring them over. Okay, now what's that piece of white bread there for, you ask? I do not have multigrain bread. Well, I do. It's in the freezer. So I'm just going to use white bread. So take the crusts off. We're going to use the food processor because we want a finer crumb. I think I can remove the scales. We don't need to weigh anything for the moment. So grab the food processor. What we're going to do with that is we're going to process that into a fine crumb. Because we're coating our chicken in a crumb, so it's almost going to be like a schnitzel thing with the breadcrumb. Well, obviously it is a breadcrumb. Duh. You tell I'm running on no sleep. Oh, it's alright. I lost my lid, but I didn't. Okay, so doing breadcrumbs in the food processor is one of the easiest things you're ever going to do. Sometimes I get lazy and I tear it up, but at the end of the day, nothing's quicker than what I'm about to do. There you go. Done. What a handy little invention. I think that's a very old food processor. I do have a new one, but it's not going to be used until that one leaves me. Okay, chicken breast I've had soaking in cold water, so we're going to bring that over and I'm going to show you how we're going to make it look fancy. Okay, all going well. These are okay to use now. Just make sure you really are pedantic with chicken. Obviously I'm not planning on sharing these, and I don't want to go to the emergency room for myself, only to visit my mum. Okay, so here's what we're going to do with this. We are going to cut a pocket in it. And that garlic butter, we're going to shove some in it. So we want about half per chicken breast. Alright, in that goes. And grab the other one over. Do the same thing. Alright, shove that in the pocket. Season them with salt and pepper, and then dip them in water, which they've already been in water. And then we want to put that breadcrumb on and get some cooking spray and give them a spray. Okay, so did we get all that? Salt and pepper. Gotta have salt and pepper on them. I hate when my hands get buttery. Doesn't seem to want to come off. Alright. Now, as I said, this supposedly takes 35 minutes to cook. Chicken breast that cooks in 35 minutes is a miracle as far as I'm concerned. You can close those with a skewer, but in all honesty, I don't really think they need to be closed. And also, I don't really think we're going to coat the full amount of chicken with that. So, best thing to do with that breadcrumb is to get yourself a plate. Put the breadcrumb on the plate. And we're going to try and coat them as much as we can. Pat it on. Yeah, probably could have done with more breadcrumbs, but it is what it is. Okay, so this is going to make, as I said, a really healthy roast alternative to having your roast chook with your skin all over it. I know that's the best bit, but alright, that's going to be close enough. See that? Okay. Chuck some washing up on my hands. Excuse me. Alright, so who wants to see? This is what I've been putting it all in. We have 2 roast chicken breasts and all of this, and this looks really tasty. Chuck some salt and pepper over the top of the tomatoes. Roma tomatoes have a better flavour than these ones. If you're lucky, you'll get Roma tomatoes. If you went in the supermarket at the same time as I did last week, you get what you get. So, I think lately I've just learnt to accept it is what it is. Otherwise, you're going to just get more and more pissed off with the world. Spray everything. Alright, 35 minutes. I don't think so. Check on it. If you need to turn it over, turn it over. That chicken's got to be really cooked through. I'll see you when they come out of the oven. Okay, so I gave everything an extra 20 minutes. The fact that that's going to be warmed up anyway means it is going to be cooked right through. They're soft. So, dish up and enjoy. Thank you for watching Cooking with Violet Vixen. I'm going to catch you next time. Bye.